Welcome to Second Take, the show that focuses on the issues behind the news. Mining Weekly editor Martin Creamer joins me today to unpack the latest in the mining industry. Welcome, Martin.
Thanks, Ashley.
Can you talk to us about the country's crime economic paradox that was highlighted at a recent Anglo American meeting?
Yes, this Anglo American meeting was on the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And the one they concentrated on was the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 16, which deals with peace, justice and stability. And when Minerals Council South Africa's Roger Baxter got on, he said we've got a huge paradox in South Africa. The paradox is this: we've got to grow the economy, otherwise we're going to have serious trouble. But we can't grow the economy because of the crime. But to eliminate the crime, we've got to grow the economy. So you're sitting there with a paradox. And I think that we've got to take very unusual steps at the moment, because the situations that they recall, that you have gangsters like in huge numbers. They spoke about this year 150 gangsters armed with high caliber rifles moving into a precious metals facility and holding the whole place up. And what do you do against that? No matter what security, they're already spending a lot of money on security. So they were also referring to the fact that there are 3 times more security people in the private sector than there are in the state police sector. And I'm just proposing that for some period of time, these people work together, because crime has not only got to be stopped, it's got to be smashed to smithereens. And it's possible because the people who are criminals are so blatant and they're getting away with it. So, you almost know where to go to find them. You can get these people. You've already got a lot of evidence on them, and they must deal with it. So I'm hoping that this crime crisis will cause the whole of South Africa Incorporated to get together and to get rid of it once and for all. Otherwise we can't have economic growth. Yet, as Roger Baxter was calculating, we grew 5% in 2008. If we can do 5% over a dozen years, our economy will move to being, a $1 trillion economy. So the potential is there. And 5% growth, we managed it before. If we really concentrate, I'm hopeful that we could manage it again. And in a dozen years, you double the value of your country. So hopefully something will come of it.
Now, new green hydrogen in demand is pushing platinum into a meaningful deficit.
Yes, so we've had a surplus of platinum throughout the year, and all of a sudden you see that platinum price rising. People are starting to understand that without much flurry of trumpet, the Chinese have been buying huge stocks of physical platinum because they're foreseeing a big need for it. And they don't want to be caught into a situation where the price rockets. So they can rather stockpile it now, and then when they need it, they will be able to draw on their own resources. This has created a situation where in 2023, it's reversing, going from a surplus into a deficit. So you're going to have this shortage. And that, I think, needs to be focused upon by our mining industry, who need to also get heavily involved in recycling, as some of them already have, because even primary supply, might frighten investors off, because if they think there's going to be a hectic shortage of platinum, they're going to take other routes. And we can't really afford that in this country, to have them taking other routes. We need to really get them to take the platinum route in the automotive business, and then for us to really promote the use and market the use of these magical 6 metals for a multiplicity of things, going across so many areas of water and medical and everything you can think of. So hopefully something will come of it, that the deficit doesn't scare people off. But at the moment, of course, having had a surplus, people are happy with the deficit because they're going to get a better price for platinum, and then the whole basket of platinum group metals should be very good.
Lastly, Martin, tell us about the 1 billion rand fuel cell factory that could break ground next year.
Yes, so in the Vaal area, the plan now is to invest R1 million in the first phase of a factory in a special economic zone that will produce fuel cells. Mashuda Romano, who I met when he was involved with the fuel cell at Minerals Council put in a big fuel cell. That's where I met him first. He has been doing incredible research on which way to go. He's been to Japan many, many times, and he's now trying to go a different route, which is more affordable. So he has actually struck up a partnership with AVL of Austria and also Ceres Power of the UK. They were visiting this week. He wants to break ground, get going on this. But the bad news for South Africa is that these fuel cells are not planning to use platinum group metals. And there's nickel and there are other things in it. But they feel that this is more affordable. And what they are looking at is stationary electricity. So it's not what we think of as mobility. And so it's a high temperature but stationary electricity that they will produce from a multi-fuel situation. The ideal will be green hydrogen. So they'll move towards that. But in the meantime, there's so many fuel options that you can use there that when they came in here, they said this office block here could take one of our fuel cells and we could produce electricity for this whole block. And I said, yeah, but where are we going to get, the fuel? Where's the green hydrogen? Don't worry about that. That's our business. When we sell you this, we sell you a solution. So there'll be a multiplicity of sources. Ultimately, hopefully, Sasol will have the green hydrogen. That's what we want, because then we go green. But we've got to get moving as fast as possible. And they recall, you remember when we used to have a telephone system here? We used to have a switchboard operator and pulling all sorts of buttons, and these would big companies would own these systems, and you'd have underground cables and all sorts of things. And they say, you remember, along came the cell phone. And you had this thing in your hand, and the whole place was decentralized. Well, this is what they think is going to happen now in Africa, which has really not got the electricity that most people in the world have got. So in South Africa and Africa, you have this fuel cell. They can do different sizes. And you can have this for your house or for your building, and it'll be like having a decentralized phone. But of course, they will have to see to this fuel. And what should come fast is the green hydrogen, which they are pleading for, so that we look after Mother Earth at the same time.
Thanks for speaking with us, Martin.
It's a great pleasure, Sashni.
That's it for today. Join us again next week for more news analysis on the local and global mining industries. To subscribe to Creamer Media's Engineering News and Mining Weekly, please email subscriptions at creamermedia.co.za.